Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So this is something new that we are doing. You guys might have seen me make comments as to it in Discord as to this might go really badly, it might go well. I don't know. So that's why we're trying it out this year. This is one of those optional sessions. You guys don't have to be here. As you can see, we don't have one of the instructors doing this. Just a person, is going through this with you guys, and the focus today is going to be study, and also questions and such. So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Um, so, for those who don't know, my name is Brian. I am one of the FRSecure employees. I'm an information security consultant. I went through and I got my CISSP about 3 years ago now. Um, the One of the things I do hope to go through here and discuss is the test itself, what's required of it, what I did to pass it, what the study habits that I had, because I know that those are a big thing. As you guys can see up there on the screen right now, I've got a couple tabs open, things that we are probably going to cover, if we have the time to do so. So this is a lot more of a free and open session. As you can tell, this is not going on through YouTube. The reason behind that is because I want to be able to talk to you guys a little bit more directly without a delay, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello from California for my part, Southern California, a nice place to be if you don't mind very expensive everything. And I see people from all over the place, which welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys very much for joining me. I do appreciate this. And I know I'm not one of the instructors here. I'm not going to lie that there's going to be questions that you guys are going to have for me, which I'm not going to know the answers to. And I apologize for that, but I'm going to do my best to get you guys the resources, or I'm going to take those, write them down, um, and get them for you, or at least point you guys in the right direction. So, um, let's see. We've got this. So you guys can use the question and answer piece as well. I'm going to try um, and keep up with chat as much as possible, although it does sometimes move fairly quickly. Yes, Brian, the ground does sometimes shake here, and it gets a little crazy. Or something in the apartment, or someone in the apartment above you drops something. It sounds like an earthquake, and you're like, "Holy cow, is it an earthquake?" Yeah, it's been on. I think we had one earlier this year, not a big one, but a light one here. I still, sorry, you guys will find that it's very easy to get me off track. I apologize for that. I like to tell stories. But I still remember the Northridge earthquake. That was when I think I was in grade school at that point. I still remember that day and when it happened. It happened very early in the morning. And man, that was something. Like, I don't know if I went to school or not that day, but like just the news and everything covering everything that was happening because it was crazy. Um, let's see. So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I see lots of people from different places once again. So, thank you and welcome for thank you for joining me. So, the first thing I'm going to get into here is study habits. So, there's been a lot of questions about study habits in chat. Um, Fun in a waterbed, huh? I can imagine. It's yeah. I just remember. Sorry. See how easy it is to get me off track on things. My parents, when we were growing up, they always told my sister and I, "Hey, if there's an earthquake, go to this certain part of the house." And we had this big, huge wood table, and they're like, "Get underneath the wood table." And so there's this giant earthquake, which we really felt, even though we weren't, and we were close enough to LA. And my parents were freaking out because they couldn't find us in our bedrooms, and my sister and I were already under the table. Like, and they're like, "Wow, our training, you guys actually worked. It was something." Um, anyway, sorry. So we're going to talk about study habits first off here. So there are tons of different study habits, and everybody has their own. Not everybody is the same. So I'm going to go through what I did when I was going through my studying for the CISSP, and hopefully this will help some of you guys, or at least give you guys little pieces of information as to something that might help you. Now, I am going to go into a couple little things that are going to be a little bit more than just, hey, read the book, which is something obvious. I apologize if you just got that notification sound on the stream here. The so to give you some background, so like I said, about 3 years since I've gotten my CISSP, you will notice that 3 years ago there was a lot going on in the world that's a little bit different than what it is now. This was one of those things that happened where um, I worked in IT and I wanted to make a career change. And so I was looking around. I had actually found out about FRSecure through a friend and the mentorship program. And I'm like, hey, this looks really cool. This is something I'm interested in. And I'm going to go through the class and see what happens. I was not prepared for what I found after the second session. The first session was cool. We had Evan up there. He was talking and was giving us a bunch of really good information. And then like the actual content hit. It's like, holy cow, like what am I getting myself into? And some of you guys might be feeling that as well at this point. Um, so I I went through it, and at that time, we were still in a way not quite on lockdown, but things were very different then because of COVID. And I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't going anywhere at that point in time. I was working from home at my job at that point. My wife was still on furlough, and it was just, play games on the computer. Jason, you're gonna learn by osmosis. So let me know if that works because there's other reasons I would want to do it. Um, you need to renew every 3 years. Um, or it's a 3 year period. So you have to pay your dues every year. You have to have CPE credits within that year as well, 40 a year, totaling 120 over 3 years. Say, for instance, my renewal is coming up in July here. And then so I wanted to change, right? So I started going through the program. I bought the book, the same one that you guys are, although I don't know if it's the same one that we were recommending now. It might be that one. I don't remember when that one came out, or it might be the edition before that. Um, I took the test not long after there was the content change in 2021. And I will say that I didn't really feel the change on it. It was there was new stuff there, but I was able to find other materials than maybe was in the book. Like I said, I don't really remember. My memory's horrible sometimes. But so I went through, I read the book, quite literally read the book. It was one of the very first sort of books like this that I've ever really been able to read through. I had the lots of different YouTube channels that I would go through. The two big ones, they've already been posted quite a bit in Discord, Destination Certification and the Inside Cloud and Security. Those were massively helpful. The Lots of time with those, lots of online resources. So the one big online resource that I used a ton was CSecure, which if you notice, I've got a tab open for that. I've got access to it so we can do some practice tests if you guys would like to do that at some point here as well. You guys will be able to get sort of an idea of the questions. Um, yeah, destination certification is huge. Also, like I said, CSecure, which we do have a discount code, 10% for CSecure. I don't know if it's a specific time period. The discount code is FRSecure, all caps. Let me put it in chat. Um, um, so discount code FRSecure. The so I use that a ton. So now the question is the big piece that I want to talk about here is how I studied. So there wasn't a lot going on at that point in time. I did a lot. I would work a normal day, once again working from home, and then I would spend an hour and a half to 2 hours a night, whether reading flashcards, redoing notes. Now, I'm a tactile person. I like to write things down. It helps me commit things to memory. I bought a stack of 300 flashcards from Amazon. They're super cheap, and basically made a ton of flashcards. What I would go through and do is I would read part of the book. I would take those practice tests in there. I made them. Yes, I made them. I had the whatever the cards are from Amazon, and I did that way because I knew that if I wrote something on that card, it would help me retain that information better if I typed it or if I just used some sort of app online. It is the the repetition, so to speak. I took notes by hand. I didn't type it out because I know that if I take notes by hand, then I will be able to better commit that information to memory than if I type it out. So it helped me a lot. Once again, I'm more of a tactile person. So doing those things, I'm visual as well. So if I could go in there and I could read that, I could read my own writing and remember reading that or writing that down. Once like so I had to go in, look up the information, put it on the card, flip it over, write the other side, and then I'd go through them, obviously. Yeah, so exactly. So taking notes, writing them down, typing them later. Some people it's taking notes as they go along. Some people it's highlighting things in books with different colors of highlighters or putting little sticky tabs in it. So different colors saying like, hey, this is here and having a color code. So there's thousands of different ways to study and do things. It's finding what's right for you, which would help a lot. I know the way I study, which also this was new to me. Like I hadn't done studying in like 10 or 15 years. So this was new to me going through the CISSP and doing it again. And I've done it for my other certifications that I've gotten since then as well, and it's always worked for me. I still have notebooks back here of my some of my studying and note taking. But so doing that, so I'd spend an hour and a half or so a night on weekdays, 2 or 3 hours on the weekends studying. Now I know that that's for me. I won't lie, I don't have children, so I don't have to worry about that. If I wasn't doing that, I'd probably be just playing video games or something along those lines. If you guys really want to get me off topic, we can talk about things like Disney, Legos, video games. So please don't. Um, so retention is going to be the key for you guys on this. It's going to be going in, looking at that information, retaining it for the time that you need it, and then once you're done, you no longer need it and you get rid of it. Um, Game of choice. I've been playing Helldivers. I play some Destiny, a little bit of Fortnite with the wife. But anyway, sorry. See, you're getting me off topic. Why you got to be like that, yo? Um, Democracy and freedom. Have some liberty. Anyway, Star Wars Legos. Um, yes, I've got some Star Wars Legos right here. I'm not going to grab them because I'll probably fall. I've got a Batmobile right here. I could grab that one. Um, oh, I got AC Mirage. Sorry, so we're getting off topic. I apologize, guys. So, um, studying. So go through. I would go through, read. I'd write notes from that. I would highlight things. I go back and read them, and then I make my flashcards. And I go through the flashcards, and when I go through the flashcards, I'd have a huge stack, right? So I'd take like I had something like 300 of them. So I go through maybe 50 or so of them. I'd go through them, and if I knew the answer, I'd put it in a pile. If I didn't know the answer or if I was iffy on it, I put it in a different pile. Then I would go through and I'd do those ones again, maybe the next day or a couple of days later. Um, the and it's that repetition that you guys are going to have to go through. All the tonic is cool. Anyway, sorry, back on topic. So it's going through and redoing that. Now, um, as I was going through that, I subscribed to CCCure about a month before I took my exam. Now, a note on that: when I scheduled my exam, so um, one thing that I learned was that, or I came to the conclusion of, is I was never going to be ready to take the exam ever. I never felt that I was going to be able to read through everything, consume everything, and remember it. This is something that you guys, where squirrel, where so the as you guys go through and you are doing this, you guys will look at this and be like, man, I don't know. I don't know if I want to take the risk management, right, of taking the exam when I'm not ready. What I did is I set an exam date. I'm like, okay, if I can't be ready by this point, and I scheduled it for 2 months out from where I was, if I can't be ready for this in 2 months, I will never be ready. I'm going to take the test no matter what. And I made that commitment saying that I'm going to do it. That was probably one of the key pieces that got me to taking it because I knew I had to study for it. And I knew that if I went beyond that, like if I'm like, okay, I'm going to go till say the end of summer, and then I'm going to take it in say September. At some point I was going to get burnt out, and then I was going to stop, and then I would never pick it up again. So awesome, Jason. Good luck, man. That's gonna come up quick, dude. Really quick. Yeah. Well, I don't know, Paul. I don't know if I would say set it first, but when you're at least you think you might be kind of ready. Um, Olden, which site are you referring to? The one that I've got up here on the screen? Sorry, I'm trying to pay attention to chat and questions here. Um, or if you have Discord, you can direct message me as well if you need help. Um, so I set the date, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go for it. I got CCure, and I started taking tests. Now, if we get a chance, and why not show you now? So this is CCure. And I've already gone into the CISSP part of this. So this is creating a new quiz. As you can see, there's a bunch of different options here, which do they have the new stuff? They don't. So not updated quite yet. Still probably covers what, like 95, 96%, maybe 99% of the exam. So there's a couple different ways that you can do this. You can go through, yes, this is a practice test. So this is, you can go through here, you can select all domains, you can select specific topics. So it looks like the last time that anybody was in here, they were going through encryption, for instance, a good one to practice. Now, what I would do is I go through and I do practice tests. And then from the practice test, the questions, you can then identify domains that you are not good at. I think this is 3 months is like 99 bucks maybe. Hold on, we can find out. Let's check renewal. This might not have a renewal because they gave us. So there you go. There's your pricing on it. So I did the 3 month subscription, I think. Maybe I did 1 month. I honestly don't remember. So ccure.education. Let me throw that in chat. That link probably won't work. Let's do this. Oh, that won't work. This will. I don't know if there's a military discount. There is an FRSecure discount. The discount code is FRSecure, all caps, and that's 10%. Um, Hiba, the classes, the normal, this is an optional class you're in right now. This is focused on studying and such. The normal classes will be Wednesday, same time, and then Mondays and Wednesdays. If you're in Discord, there's a class schedule posted there. There's also a class schedule posted on our website as well. Um, so let's see. Sorry, let's go back here to what I was showing you guys. So this is where you can come in now. I saw a question about test mode and study mode. Test mode is going to go through and it's going to give you questions and it's going to give you results at the end, and then you can review the questions that you got right and wrong. Study mode will actually go in and you select an answer and it'll tell you if you're right or wrong, and it'll give you reasoning behind it. So that it'll give you a little bit more information. When you do test mode, when you go through those questions again, you still get that same information, but study mode just gives it to you right away, um, rather than when you are at the end of it. So it's a little bit more. So you can go through, and this is one of the things that I did is I went through study mode, and I would go through these questions, and I'd be like, if I got something wrong, like absolutely wrong, and I'd be like, hey, what did I get wrong here? And then I make notes based off the information, or I go look up more information. Hiba, do you have access to the Discord? If you have access to the Discord, all of the information is there. Any of the emails that you got for the course will also have that link. Yeah, yeah, exactly. The course materials in Discord is going to have like almost everything that you could want. So, Brian, how close are the questions to the real ones? So, um, let me get to that. Let me get to this first. So, also something to think about when you are going to be taking the quiz, and this is something that I did, is 2 weeks before I took the exam, I changed my diet. There are certain diets that you can eat that are better for brain function. Say, for instance, in the mornings, I was eating blueberries and drinking green tea, which are supposed to help you with brain and thinking and memorizing things. So 2 weeks before the test, actually, the keto diet is supposed to be good for that as well, which I was doing at the time anyway. But let me get you guys a Discord link. So going through that and changing up my diet so that I was in a better spot to think was something that I believe helped me quite a bit. So that is the Discord link, so you guys can get in there and register. Please let me know if that does not work. I can get you a different link if it doesn't. But so food is very important. So like I said, I started doing this for 2 weeks, and for 2 weeks before I did the exam, I set myself a diet knowing that these were superfoods for brain function and eating. So this test, um, it's crazy because, and Brian, to answer your question, is these questions are kind of similar, but they're not the same. So when I went in to take the test, um, I could have swore that I failed the test in the first 5 questions. When I sat down and I started taking it, like I took those first 5 questions, I'm like, holy cow. Like I was not prepared for this at all. Like these are so far so different than any test question I had gone through. Um, the and a lot of people say that, and I did take a I did go through and I did get a bunch of different test questions. Like there's a bunch of different places that you can go online and get free test questions. A lot of them are samples, some of them are like full on larger, basically they're going to sell you these test questions or give you a couple free ones so that you'll buy their product for whatever. Say for instance, I know Udemy has them, Boson has them, the obviously CCure, which is the one that I used. There's a bunch of them out there that you can get. I highly recommend going through test questions because they're going to prep you. So one thing to also think about is that when you sit down and take this test, it could take you up to 3 hours. How, when was the last time that you sat down for 3 hours with no distractions, no music, no way to check the time on your phone or look at TikTok or whatever else you have on your phone, look at your email, no distractions. That is what the test environment is like. You have a computer sitting in front of you, and that's it. You are in a quiet room. You're not allowed to talk to other people. You have cameras on you that are watching you, at least at the place I was at. There's proctors there watching you. Quite literally, when I went to go take the test, they took my glasses, put them on this little turntable, and made sure that I didn't have anything to give me test questions. I was wearing a hat, just like this one. They made me take it off and put it in a locker. They made me pull out my pockets to make sure that there was nothing in my pockets and that I couldn't cheat somehow. Um, you might be able to take a break. I think it might depend on the testing center, but when you do, just be prepared because they're going to put you through, they're going to make sure that you're not doing anything. Um, I think it's 3 hours is the time now. I know that they're kind of changing it. This was on a computer. My version was on a computer. I know in different countries they might have it pen and paper still. I think that they're getting rid of that now. I think it's all gone to the CAT testing. Also, note that on the test, you cannot go back and answer questions. You cannot mark them and come back to them. Once you answer a question and you move to the next one, you do not get to go back. And you have to answer the question you're on to go to the next one. So let's see. I've not taken the CISSP, so I can't tell you on that one. The tests that I've taken recently, I've taken CVCISO and PCIP, so Payment Card Industry Professional. Those are the only ones I have to compare it to. The CVCISO was an online test that was proctored. The PCIP was in a testing center that was nothing like this. I sat for the entire time. Yep, and I think you can get up and go to the bathroom if you want to, but still if you do, you're going to have to raise your hand. Someone's going to have to come over, see where you're at. They'll let you go. They'll probably check you on the way out and they'll check you on the way back in again. So be prepared for that. Um, Security Plus is a good baseline for prepping. Yes. Also, they've got the CC by ISC, which is basically a stepping stone up to CISSP. I hear that the CC and the CISSP are not the CC and the Security Plus are very similar. CC is free right now. It is adaptive, yes. The CISSP is an adaptive test. So if you get something wrong on the test, obviously you're not going to know, but it's going to focus in on that and it's going to want to ask you more questions about it. Let's see. I had a couple things to say. When you go take the test, you will need, at least I had to provide two forms of identification. I had a driver's license and a passport. I had to give a fingerprint, I think more than one fingerprint actually, and I had to do a palm vein scan. So they will want to do a palm vein scan. It was funny because the guy in front of me was taking something else. All he had to do was show an ID. And then when they came to me and I had to check in, like it took him like 2 minutes to check in for whatever he was doing. It took me like 10 minutes because of all the stuff that they had to check and do for me. There is a lot more, there's a lot more security around the CISSP than other exams. So I've honestly thought about sitting for the CC just to see how different it is. But let's see. Looking through chat. Cool. Um, so something to note, Meghana, for you, you bring up a good question. So on the exam, I think it is, hold on, did I bring it up? Here's changes. Let me get this up because I think it's going to be worth noting. The exam requirements is what I'm going to be going for. Actually, now that I think about it, I've already got the information I need up. So the changes to the exam. So this is information of what's been changed or what's changing, what has changed. Last week, last Monday is when this came into effect. So the weighting is very little. There are some other changes. We're going to hit that, but let's go down to the questions here. So this is the part right here. So domain weighting changes. The CAT exam is 3 hours. These are the different areas. Let's see. Looks like they've got a couple. So there are linear exams, Chinese, German, Japanese, Korean, Spanish, and that gives you 6 hours, um, receiving about 225 items. So, so here's the key piece right here you're looking at for questions. So you'll see between 100 and 150 questions on the exam. So, and this depends. Um, I don't know if the exam price changed. Let me get this here. Give me a sec. I'll give you a link to the CC. Give me a moment. Zoom doesn't like to go away. Which I will say, if you are newer to this and this does seem like a lot of information, the CC is a very valid certification. Like I said, it is a stepping stone. Um, let's see. Uh, so Guyton, sorry if I got your name wrong. You are correct. You have to take it within that time period, and you have to buy it by a certain time. So if you are not ready for the exam at that point in time, for that time frame, then don't buy it. I've There's a chance that they will extend that program or have it again at some point in time. Um, it's just hard to say. I'm not ISC, so I can't say what they are going to do and what they are not going to do. Taking back-to-back exams. It depends. I honestly, I couldn't do it, especially with the difference between, say, CC and CISSP. One's going to be a lot deeper, and if you get the CISSP, it kind of makes the CC moot. It is the CISSP is going to be a higher version of that. Um, so you could, like I mentioned before, like I'd be interested in taking the exam to see how it goes, but that's for purely educational purposes, but more of to see what the difference is, to see what it is. Um, so you did the A plus and the security plus. That's awesome. I have an A plus, but that was a long time ago, man. Um, but so something to note that you guys are probably seeing if you guys are studying or looking at different certifications, a lot of this information is very similar. There's a lot of carryover from one certification to the next. It just depends on what the specifics that that organization is looking for you to certify in. Um, and I will say that um, it's like that in security as well. And it's a lot like that in different sort of foundations and frameworks and such. A lot of the information is the same. It's all foundational, or a lot of it's foundational. If you can build up that foundation, it gives you a lot. Um, for instance, there's people that go out there and they'll be like, "Hey, I passed the CISSP in 1 month." What they don't tell you is that they've had 20 years of experience in education or in security and education and IT and such. So all the stuff they already knew, they just had to apply it properly. The think like a manager uh, idea but behind the CISSP that you see people saying, that is massively helpful. Um, let's see. So, Jason, to give you some background, I was 15 years in IT before I came to where I am, and that was all kinds of different jobs. So, yeah, if you have experience, it's big. And also note that for those of you guys who are looking at the CISP, remember the experience requirement. It requires 5 years of experience. Now, that experience, say for instance, if you're in IT and you've been doing work on firewalls, you can apply that, right? And you're managing them and such. If you're in IT and you've done and I'm only doing this out of experience because this is how I used it. I had PCI experience because we had to do PCI remediation. Um, Andrew, to answer your question, no, you don't. Uh, I think that if you fail the exam, you might get a breakdown, or at least you know your score. If you pass the exam, they do not tell you anything other than you passed. That's the only information that you get. Um, I guess the idea behind that is they don't want people going like, "Oh, well, I got an 800 on my exam," and other people going like, "Oh, well, I'm better than you because I got a 900" type deal. Um, so taking the exam, you will be, like I said, in a room. It'll be quiet. There'll be other people in there, so you might be hear people say clicking mice and such. If you're in one of the computerized environments, um, there'll people be walking around, kind of checking on you and such. I do believe they give you some like a dry erase board. At least they gave me a dry erase board and like a dry erase pen. Um, so that if I need to like say like write something down along those lines, I would. Um, I don't remember if you get any sort of snacks or anything like that, or if you can take water in. You might be able to. I don't know. I don't remember, or that might have changed. The and like I said, guys, if I'm missing your questions, don't hesitate to throw them in there again. I don't know if you can at me in here to get my attention, maybe. Um, So you're going to be in an environment. You won't have, say, like I'm used to working. I'm used to having headphones in and listening to music, for instance, or having something in the background. You won't have that. I do suggest when you are studying, try and simulate that same environment. Do not have any music going. Have it as quiet as possible. Uh, Close up windows if you get sounds from the outside coming in, because that will help you get into the zone and it'll help you be comfortable in that area because the more comfortable you are while sitting taking the exam, the better you're going to do. Yeah, no loud children. Sorry, can't do that. Um, I think my exam when I took it, I think I was there about 2.5 hours. I don't remember. The only I remember my exam started around 11, or at least that's when my check-in time was. I don't remember when I left. Um, I can't say for your service dog. I apologize. Um, let's see. So, also know that so this was my experience when I finished the exam. So, um, I had read a lot about it, about people taking the exam. And from what I read is people were saying, and I think the max questions was 125 when I took it. It was either 100 to 125, maybe. But also note that there are a certain amount of questions, I believe it's 25 on the exam, that are ungraded. They are questions that they are using to test for future versions of the exam. So you might get some questions that are like, holy cow, we didn't even cover this, but they're not graded. You don't know what questions are ungraded, though. There's no way to tell. So just know. Um, the Joel, ask me about CPs later when I get kind of finished with the exam part. Um, the right now it's 150. It is now 150 is the max. So when I took the test, like I said, I got to question five. I thought I was absolutely failing it, right? I didn't expect to pass it because it's just like just it was a lot different than what I expected. And no practice test question that I took was well, some were close, but there was just some questions on there that were just like I wasn't expecting it, right? Um, the so I took the test. I got to question 100 and I answered question 100. And from my reading and such, the people seem to indicate that the more questions you got, the more likely that you were to fail. So when I hit next on question 100 and I got to question 101, I'm like, damn, this is bad. And then I answered question 101 and it said, you're done. Congratulations. Not congratulations, you've passed, but just you're done. Congratulations, you finished. Um, so then not only that, just be prepared because when I took this, what I then had to do is I had to have one of the proctors come over. They had to actually finish the exam or do whatever they did. They then walked me out. They checked my pockets again. They checked my glasses again. They made sure I wasn't somehow cheating again as I was walking out. It wasn't until about 15 minutes after I actually took the exam that I actually found out what my if I had passed or not, which I did. Um, but just know that it doesn't like when I took the PCIP, it came up. It said, "Hey, congratulations, you finished and you passed." They don't do that on this. Well, they could have changed it by now. I don't know if they have or not. Um, but it's it's better than the people that had to do the scantrons and had to mail it in and wait like 6 weeks or whatever it is. I know people who had done that. Ask Ron, he did. Evan did. Um, Passing score, I believe, is 700, but you won't know. You won't know if you passed what your score was. Um, let's see. So once you pass the exam, the you will then get an email saying, "Hey, you provisionally passed," which means that you're still. What they say that they can go back and review, make sure you weren't cheating, make sure everything lines up, and everything. Um, and then you're looking good. You will then find out that, hey, yeah, you're good. The next step is endorsement. Endorsement is having someone that already has a CISSP vouch for you basically and say, hey, yes, this person is good. You can do that, which actually I've got a new link for you guys for that. Um, I'm going to throw it in chat. No, you don't want Joe. You don't what, Joe? Something I said or something else? Oh, you guys are having a conversation. Cool. So that is a new link for our endorsement program. Because I know that we used to be doing it through Discord. We used to say like, send an email to this or send an email to Evan. We're not doing that any longer. We're finding that we didn't always get to people soon enough or quick enough when we were doing endorsements, and so we are doing it this way now. It's a little bit more, not a little bit more. We can track it a lot better now. So with that link, I'll also get that into Discord as well so that you guys can see it from there. And it's there for you guys. Now, so that's the exam. CPEs came up. You do this after the exam. The endorsement comes after you've passed the exam. So CPEs, you only need one, yes. Um, So it's hard to tell, Brian, because if you do get 100 if you get 100 test questions, there is a possibility that of those 100 test questions, 25 of them are not graded. So I think 25 is the number that people say for the ungraded questions, their testing or their not testing questions, that's the wrong word for it. It's their questions that they use to develop new questions. So, sorry, I know I mentioned CPs. One other quick item. One thing that you will notice when you are going through real questions for the exam, and some of the practice tests do this really well, is most of the time when you read the question, you can immediately eliminate two of the answers. It is multiple choice. They generally give you four answers. So if you read the question and you go like, okay, I know what this is, also read the question twice, always twice. And then once you read it, and then make sure you read all of the answers, and then yes, beta questions, thank you. Um, Once you read the question, or once you find the answers that you want, go back and read the question again to make sure it's really what you think it is. Some of these questions, it's the best answer. All of your answers are going to be correct. You have to then pick the best one of those questions. Um, the Bucky, I'm not sure. That is outside of my wheelhouse. Um, so make sure you read the questions. Sometimes you will get questions that are scenario style questions where you've got a whole lot of information on your screen that's going to be a paragraph or two, but then at the very bottom, there's going to be the actual question, which is one sentence, maybe two. What I do for those ones is I would go and read that question first, then I go through and read the actual question itself or the scenario, and then try and pick out the information I need to answer that one question. Um, let's see. I think there was some, there might have been one or two true and false questions. Honestly, I don't know for sure on that, honestly. So Sherman, not there are some instances where all of the answers are feasible, I should say, where they all could be an answer to the question, but you have to pick the best one. Or sometimes there's two correct answers and you have to pick the best one. That is where the think like a manager comes in to it, because sometimes the difference between the two answers that you will find is, hey, I'm going to go do this, or I'm going to engage someone within the organization to do it. A lot of times with think like a manager, that is what you're doing. You're a manager. You're delegating out duties to fix something, for instance. A good point. Pay attention towards like most, best, least, first, etc. Those are going to be a big deal for you guys. Some of these questions, if you read them once and you think about it and you go through and you read them again, you will pick up those specific words that's going to change the way you think about it. Wording is very important in this. Also, a note on abbreviations. Say there's a lot of abbreviations in this industry. From my experience, most of the time they will be spelled out for you in the exam. So you won't need to specifically know what something is short for. They will generally tell you what it is. And very correct, Jason. Reading comprehension is huge in this. Also, paying attention. Um, I know I mentioned this, I think, in the last class, but when you are answering a question, I often finding myself going like, "Hey, the answer to the question is B," but then one of the questions starts with a B, and I'll accidentally click that, which is actually D. I've caught myself doing that on exams, so watch out for that as well. Make sure that the one um, you click is the one that you want. Um, let's see. So Karen, let's see how the questions are created. I can't speak to that because I'm not an exam writer for this. I know that there are people who are. Actually, if you want to hit me up in Discord, if you're in Discord, um, I might have a little bit more information on that. That I don't want to throw out here just yet. But yeah, hit me in Discord. We can talk. Um, let's see. Say which part again. So, Chantel, yes, you cannot go back and make changes to the exam. Once you answer a question and you move to the next one, you cannot go backwards. And you have to answer the questions to go forward. It's not like you can say flag a question and come back to it later. Sherman, so what I find myself doing, say like if I read the answer to like A, B, C, or D as answers to the question, and I decide that the answer is B, what I've caught myself doing is, say, for instance, one of the answers, say it's D, starts with a B. I see that B is the start of the question, and I'll hit D instead of B. that's my own thing that I've caught myself doing, but I have to go back and double check and make sure when I'm answering questions in a test like this that I'm answering the correct one that I'm meaning to answer. Um, so Alice, CISSP by far. The CISSP has gotten me into FRSecure, which was a huge career change for me. Um, we I would hope I hope to, yes, Diana, to go through and do some practice test questions with you guys. Um, so so I, the studying part of that, CPEs. Sorry, I didn't get you on CPEs. So CPEs, there's many different ways that you can get CPEs for ISC. The one of the ways that I do it is YouTube videos will do it. I do for me, part of this mentorship helps because this is outside of my normal duties. This is I volunteer my time, granted it's with FRSecure, my employer that's running it, to do these. I do not get paid for this, for doing this. This is all just me on my own time doing it. Um, Correct. CISSP is the gold standard. It's crazy because the CISSP requires 5 years of experience to get it, and you will find entry-level jobs wanting a CISSP in security. It's mind-boggling. But that's why other certs such as Security Plus and the CC are so good, because that can give you a little bit of a baseline in it. Let's see. So CPE credits. So webinars do it. Say, for instance, I got my PCIP, and that counted as CPE credits for me. For the reporting period. Things like conferences count. The PCI community meeting that they have every year gets me CPE credits. The doing the Once you are a member with ISC, you can actually go in and do training courses through them that count as CPE credits. So there's a lot of different options out there. I've not found any issue with finding CPE credits. Like, say, for instance, this course does not count as CPE credits because we are not able to track through our system who attends classes and for how long you attend classes. That doesn't mean that you can't say, take information down and say, hey, I watched this YouTube video, the whole thing, and put it in and claim it as CPE credits. That is at you guys' own risk. I'm not saying to do it, just as a note, but I know people who have. I don't know if that will stand up to an audit, for instance. So um, I can't say, Meghana, uh, how similar they are. I might be able to tell you in about 6 months from now because CISM is potentially my next certification that I'm going to go for. Um, yeah, the CC is very new. I can't. I don't think it's even more than 2 years old. Yeah, so audits are hard because you do have to prove that you were there. But things like, I mean, they do allow you to do webinars, they do allow you to do podcasts and such. So I know people who put that in for CPE credits. Um, let's see. We are not able to do CPE credits for this session. No. At least you will not get anything saying like, hey, you attended and this is how many CPE credits. Like I said, you can claim it if you want or try. I don't recommend it because I don't want you to get audited. Um, so and there's always webinars going on. There's heck, we even there's the home security webinar. I posted a couple of them in our announcements that we're doing, and it's based on home personal security, information security, and those count for CPE credits. Those are done through ISACA as well. So if you're doing anything like a ISACA certification, you need CPE, they count there as well. Unfortunately, they are at the same time, or at least a couple of them are at the same time as our normal sessions here. Um, yes, integrity is huge with ISC because they've built something and they want to keep it up. Um, let's see. So with that, I'm going to keep an eye on this here. So kind of come at a crossroads here. I've kind of given you my study guide sort of ideas, what I did to pass the exam and the information. I know there's a ton of links and resources in Discord as well. Uh, is there anything specific that I haven't answered for you guys at this point in time, or you guys want to hear from me? If not, we can go ahead and hit on a couple things, other items here. I do want to talk about the books and the or the upcoming books, I should say, with the changes. Um, we've got and then we've got CCCure up here as well. And we could also talk about the exam changes if you guys want to get into that. I know we've talked about that a bit here and there. So, Kirk, you are correct. So, and also, and we can do that for you as well. Like I said, and I've got that link that's out there that I posted a while ago. I can repost it again if you want, of doing endorsement through FRSecure. So, there's a couple of us that do them. I can do them. Brad can do them. Evan does them every once in a while nowadays, and we've got a whole bunch of other CISSPs that are willing to help. I don't have a study guide plan. I never built anything like that. At the time, it was a little bit too formal for me. Um, so there are plans out there for people that have built them. Um, I suggest finding one of those because if I had one, it probably wouldn't be very good as it is. So Paul, for the associate, uh, it's hard to say. Most people are looking for the CISSP, but at the entry level, if you have that associate title and you can say, "Hey, if I get 5 years of experience, I get a CISSP," it could be worth it. Um, it's just hard to say though. I can't speak to Security Plus, Mike. I do not have one, so I don't know the ins and outs of it. You want to submit after the exam for the endorsement. Because if you haven't completed the exam yet, we can't do the steps to do the endorsement. That has to be done first. Um, that link is posted in Discord, Nakia, under the session 2 links. Uh, um, the FTK forensic toolkit. I believe it's the Exerto Forensics Toolkit. If you want to just Google it, if not, let me know. Send me a message in Discord. I can dig it up for you if you can't find it. A resume will be needed for it. And say, for instance, as a person who does endorsements, I will want to see your resume before I endorse you. Let's see. It is only someone with a CISSP. So a CISSP has to endorse someone for a CISSP. There might be some exceptions to that for other certifications, but it can't be like just someone that, for instance, if it's your boss and they don't have one, they're not going to allow that. Um, sorry, my voice is starting to go on me. It's been a long day. Um, let's see. Um, so you have 6 years to come up with the experience, the 5 years experience. Say if you have, say, 2 years now and you only need 3 years, you have 6 years to get that additional 3 years. Um, let's see. So also, I will say, if you guys are working in different industries, look at the CISSP domains. If there's anything that we're covering within these domains that you guys have experience in, and you could put it on a resume, generally it's going to count towards this. Say, for instance, when I was doing mine, I was asking the same questions you guys were. I was going like, dude, I'm a IT guy. Like, does any of this apply for it? And then come to like when we got into networking, it's like, holy cow, I do all of this stuff. When we got into, say, risk management and assessments and that sort of thing, it's like, well, I do this. Like, I do some of it, not all of it, but that counted for me as well. So take a look and see what you guys do. If you guys can align it to one of the domains, you can generally use it. Let's see. Sorry, I'm a bit behind on chat. I'm trying to catch up. Hey, thank you guys for being here too. At FRSecure, we do pride ourselves on running this. I mean, you can tell from Evan, he loves it. All right, sorry. Trying to go through this faster because you guys are typing faster than I can catch up. Um, and I believe internship does, I, I think. You might need to get a little bit better on the, or like get a little bit closer into the requirements on that one to verify. Um, yes, you do still need it. Let's see. Which while I'm looking here, I just want to say if anybody's in chat that I'm working with and we have normal meetings, hey guys, how's it going? Good to see you guys. Um, I know that I've talked to a couple people since this started that I'll be like, hey, I saw you last night. It's like, oh, cool. So hi guys. Let's see. The Security Plus, I do not believe it does. I'm not sure on that. We've got confirmation. Thank you, Kevin. So with that, what do you guys say about a practice test? So we're going to go ahead and run this in study mode. Um, we are going to do the latest CBK. Let's do it on pro. Uh, you guys are going to see how bad I am at this. It's going to be pretty amazing. I guarantee you on that. We're going to go 10 questions. We're going to make it light because we're going to talk about this as we go through it. Now, I will state that um, I don't, there's some of these items within the CISSP that I don't touch on a regular basis. So there are times here where it's going to be like, dang, man, this is a really good question and I'm not sure. So if I get any of these wrong, just know that I'm sorry and we'll figure it out. We're going to do all domains because why not? Question types. So we do have a listing. So I know someone had asked about true and false. It does look like there are true and false here. So there's a good chance. Um, we got some all kinds of stuff here. Interesting. Cool. Um, we're just going to do shuffle answers, questions, review, and correct answers. Cool. So we're going to generate a quiz. Go ahead and throw out anything in here, which I should be checking. I haven't been checking Discord this whole time, guys. I apologize. So if anybody sent me a message in there, I apologize that I haven't answered it yet. Yep, we'll uncheck that. We'll look at it all. I don't know if the review only incorrect answers actually applies if you're doing study mode, since it should give it to you. Uh, Definitely, Michelle. Probably tomorrow, though. Um, let's see. So correct. It is not. Check the question mark. That's a logical choice. If only there was an answer here on the screen, right? Um, so I'm not going to read this all for you guys. My voice is already starting to go. I'll let you guys see it. Let's see. So only questions that you answered wrong, questions that you didn't know. Um, so you don't waste time reviewing the correct ones. That makes sense. But we'll leave this off here. All right, so we're going to generate. So we've got 10 questions here. We're going to go through this. Correct. CSecure.education. Let's see. I'll throw another link in here for you guys. It is a subscription service. You can use discount code FRSecure for a 10% discount. Um, that should work for you. And you guys are already answering the question. So which of the following OSI layers provides routing and related services? This is one that we haven't seen, but it looks like you guys are getting me covered here. So the network layer, you guys say? So network layer. Hey, you guys got it. So, um, is it comment? No, not comment. Oh, show. Hold on. It's been a while since I've been in here. Not that. Show answer. There we go. So here's the details to the question. So this is what it's going to give you. Like say if the question was wrong, I think that this would pop up automatically. Maybe we'll see. We'll get one wrong here. But this is the sort of information you're looking for. Say if we didn't get it right, why didn't you get it right? What additional information is here, right? So networking is going to be something I believe Evan's going to be going over that with you guys fairly quickly here. Um, for those that are in networking, this is stuff this is going to be easy for you guys. you guys will know this. So, and you guys are going to be going like, all people seem to need data processing. Did I get that right? It's been so long. Or don't throw away sausage pizza. This will make sense to you guys in a couple sessions here. Um, so moving along. Oh, check this out. You guys even get layers and information. So something I didn't mention to you guys because I just remembered it right now. As part of my studying, I would actually go through and try and build out this specific one is one of them. I've got a notebook full of these graphs where basically what I would do, I would start at one point, I'd go down the list A, P, S, T, N, D, P. And then I'd write out application, presentation, session, transport, so on and so forth. And then I would write in what pieces are associated with that. Um, so that I could remember this. So so if I needed to, it would just pop up into my mind. Like I said, I'm a visual person. So this helped me by writing it out by hand, but then also going through and rebuilding it again and looking at it being like, okay, how closely does my version of this match? Let's see. Okay, moving along. Next. Which of the following issue is not addressed by default when using Kerberos? Now, Kerberos, very interesting. Kerberos is supposedly taken off the exam. I'm going to pull this up because when I was looking through it, I thought it was kind of interesting. So this list right here, I will also throw this in chat. This is the exam changes. This is CISSprep.net, which is giving you information on what's changed. You see here things that have changed, things that have not changed. You will see items that are new or things that were removed. And I believe if we get down here, Kerberos has been removed. This shows how out of practice I am. Networks. I think it's, yeah, there you go, right there. Kerberos has been removed. So at least that's according to this. Maybe it has, maybe it hasn't. Carmine, that is way too logical. All right. Way too logical. You guys need to quit with the logic, man. Come on now. So I will be posting kind of like I normally do in Discord these links again tomorrow. These links are already all in there actually. If you go through the course materials channel. But that's no longer there. This is so here, I'll post this up here again just in case anybody didn't get it because chat is moving. Um, this is this is it gives you a really good idea of what's changed and what hasn't. I do recommend looking at this and looking for items. A lot of these items, for instance, are things that we've already talked about in the past, that were already there in, say, past classes. So sometimes the instructors have been a little bit ahead on this and talked about these things because it made sense to do so. Sometimes they're a little bit newer. Like for instance, virtualized networks, that's been taken out. That's kind of interesting to me. Anyway, sorry, let's get back to this. See, you guys are getting me off track again. It's not my fault. It's you guys are. Anyway, I'm joking, by the way. Which of following is not addressed by Kerberos. So confidentiality, availability. You guys are jumping quick on this, man. Um, I'm going to shout out destination cert. The mind maps are amazing that destination certification does. So availability is what you guys are saying. So confidentiality, that's not going to be it, right? Because you need that. This is the CII triad, guys. Confidentiality, integrity, and authentication. Availability is not what you want. For the fun of it, I'm going to say authentication so you guys can see what happens. So say, hey, no, you guys got the wrong answer. Apparently, I do have to show the answer here. But availability is going to be the correct answer here. So once again, we're going to get a big long explanation of why that is. You guys can see it here. I'm not going to dwell on this for too much longer. All right. Next up. Which of the following is a device that is used to regenerate or replicate received signals? A browser, a bridge, router, or repeater? So I'm seeing repeater in there. I agree. We're going to go with repeater. That's what it is. So I don't know what a browser is. Is that something that I'm just missing that I don't know? Has anybody heard of that? Uh, fake router. Cool. All right, moving right along, ladies and gentlemen. Which of the following can prevent hijacking of a web session? PPP, RSA, SET, or SSL? SSL. That's immediately what popped out to me. You guys agree? We're gonna hit SSL. Heck yeah. So I'm not as good at this, but we are going to be doing this again later in the session. The instructors will be doing this with you as well, and it's always interesting the conversations that they have about this. Um, but like you guys are seeing with this is, and I know this is kind of early on in the class, some of these things apply. Like RSA, that's not going to apply here. Set, I don't even know if that's a thing. What do they say? Oh, it's just saying that these aren't correct. Does it say set is secure electronic transaction protocol? Visa, MasterCard, so it's part of the payment card. So yeah, that's a good point about TLS. TLS isn't here though. So it's the best answer in this case is SSL. So I'm going to preface this again and say that remember, I'm out of practice, man. I haven't taken test questions in a while. Some of this stuff is outside of my normal wheelhouse these days. All right. Next up, most common threat that impacts a business ability to function is normally what? Water damage, power outage, severe weather, a labor strike. The most common threat. So notice that the most is highlighted here. So water damage, not really likely. It could be power outage. Power is a big deal. Severe weather, not as likely. Labor strike, maybe. Depends if you're a supermarket. Power outage is what I'm seeing everybody say. I agree. Power outage. Cool. Does anybody want to see the answer information on this one? Nope. I'm seeing nopes. Cool. Moving right along, ladies and gentlemen. So, I mentioned this before. So sometimes you're going to get these scenario-like questions. You'll notice here that we've got a big long sentence of information, but then we have a second one that's got a question in it. So what is mitigated by taking all these preventative measures? That's the question, right? So focusing here first. This is the question. This is what we're ultimately looking to get into. So you run a software development company, you want to ensure that your programmers are coding securely and properly, validating user input, and also using runtime protection such as ASLR, address space randomization, and data execution protection. What is being mitigated? So you guys are saying buffer overflows. So network sniffing attacks, nah, those don't really apply here. Those aren't addressing network. Standard coding procedures, yeah, maybe. Buffer overflow attacks, when you guys are going malware attacks, definitely not here. So the reason why I'm pointing these out is because you guys can automatically knock out two of those answers right off the bat. The first are network sniffing attacks and then malware attacks are both off the list. So we're only worried about standard coding procedures and buffer overflow attacks. This is a little bit too specific for me if I was looking at this to be a standard coding procedures, right? So I would go with buffer overflow attacks as well. So programming has never been my thing. I started college for coding and programming. I lasted one semester. I'm not gonna lie. That's when I went into IT after that. I just did not have the brain for coding. Yes, you do want standard coding. This is very, very true. Standard coding and secure coding um, is very important. Very important. Which is following is not a password management best practice. Preventing password reuse, disable unnecessary services, limited failed login attempts, preventing weak passwords. So what is not a best practice? Preventing password reuse, disabling unnecessary. I'd say disable unnecessary services. It looks like we got some consensus there. Cool. You guys are correct. It's too bad that they don't let us take the CISSP as a mind hive altogether and leverage everybody's brain power. Yeah. And I like the fact that not is highlighted in these ones. It will not be on the test. It will absolutely not be on the test. Resistance is futile. Sorry, wrong reference or wrong area. Um, does anybody want to see the answer on this one, or are you guys cool to move on? Nope, nope. Okay, cool. We want more questions, dang it. All right. Which of the following layer of an OSA model ensures that messages are delivered error-free in sequence and with no other loss or duplication? I'm going to throw this one out to my network guys out there. You guys are saying transport layer. Let's go with it. See what it is. Yeah. Uh, flipped answers. So just throw it out there real quick so you guys can see the answers so that later on you guys can go back and see it. I can do that. So this one's a really long one. This is going to give you information on all of the layers, as you can see here. Um, it's kind of interesting because I remember when going through this and when you hit the show information, it always jumps to the bottom and you'd have to scroll up. That was something that when I did it, it did it too. Um, let's see. There we go. All right, I'm going to not show the answer and we're going to go next. Maybe next. There we go. Which ongoing process is critical in maintaining awareness of the IT risk landscape so that you may proactively defend your network, its users, and their data? So an ongoing process maintaining IT risk landscape. Threat analysis, accreditation, risk analysis, vulnerability management. I'm going to knock accreditation off the list right now. So we've got a little bit of variation in here. So some people are saying threat analysis, some people are saying vulnerability management, some people are saying risk or threat. Vulnerability management. It looks like more people are saying vulnerability management now. Let's see. Ongoing process is critical in maintaining awareness of the IT risk landscape so that you may proactively defend its networks, users, and their data. I'd probably go with vulnerability management on that, but I think vulnerability management is a little more technical. That's more, to me, that's more technology based. Since it's got users and their data in there, I think I'd have to go either risk or threat. So this is going to be one of those, it's it's the best answer, right? So I keep saying risk analysis, so let's go risk analysis. So the wrong answer. See what it says. Threat analysis is what they're saying. Congrats to those who got that. Sometimes you will look at these and you're going to be like, why is it that? When you do that, I recommend going back and reading in the book what they say about this specific subject. So, all right, we're going to move on. I'm going to just scroll slowly through this for those who want to be able to go back and look at this information, since I know that not everybody's going to have access to FR, or not FRS, to CSecure. All right, moving along. Question 10. Configuration defaults, design faults, unpatched weaknesses, or undiscovered weaknesses are all forms of what? What are they? Um, threats, vulnerabilities, APT or advanced persistent threat, or zero-day vulnerability. I'm going to knock two of those off there, the bottom two. So threats or vulnerabilities, they're vulnerabilities. People are saying vulnerabilities. I agree. Boom. Nice work, ladies and gentlemen. You guys are guiding me to the right information. All right. Once again, I will show the answer here. Give you this information so that you can go back and get it. A good point on being able to go in and pulling this out of the video. This is only 10 though, man. There's like I forget how many questions are in here, but there's a ton of them. Let's see. So a question about breaking for studying. So the part of the studying that I didn't tell you guys about when I got burnt out on it, and it was about a week before the exam. Quite literally, I sat at my desk with a glassy-eyed look on my face for a half hour in front of an open book, and like my wife's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I don't know what I'm doing." Like, I quite literally didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know a half hour had passed at that point in time. Walk away. Yeah, if at any point if you think that you're reading something and you can't retain that information and tell yourself what you just read, you need to walk away. Walking away and doing something else is absolutely valid. In fact, I'd say it's needed. And that's a very good call out, Valerie, because I didn't address that in this. I had meant to. Um, the and Kirk, we're not covering anything specific. No, this is an optional session. Studying was the goal for tonight. Um, the ability or go out to take a walk. For me, it was taking walks, playing a game, and just taking a bit of time. It was just watching something on TV. Just going and getting away from what you're studying. Your brain can only take so much. And if you try and push it too far, if I had gone on continued doing what I was doing and kept on going, I would have gotten wrecked on the test because my brain would have been done. I couldn't have done it. Um, so there when you get to the exam, the actual exam, there will be longer questions. Um, we can go. So let's see. We just did question 10. Let's finish this. Sorry, I'll go through this a little bit slower. So for those who want to go back in the video and capture this information and look through it, and we're done, right? So we've got everything. We're going to submit for grading, see how we do. So 10 out of 10 correct. We knew that because this is study mode. This will be, if you guys do the exam mode or the test mode, you guys will not see this, and this information will make you actually go back and review it later. So, um, here's results. So 9 out of 10. That was 10 out of 10. Interesting. Um, so you guys will see here. So with this summary of results, it's going to give you information to help you out. So this is Diana, I can't speak to that because I've only done the free boson stuff. So I can't say for sure. I'm sure that there's people who are here that have done both. They might be able to give you a better answer than I can. Um, this is the one that I used and I liked it a lot, honestly. Um, but so this is your sort of after action report. We can go see and say like, oh, hey, I need to look at security risk management. I need to maybe read a little bit more about that. Maybe go through my flashcards for that domain again. And it's going to give you that information. This one doesn't matter because Kerberos isn't there anymore. Um, so interesting, Ben. So you don't think it's that great? KG, it'll take some time, a lot of studying. These are actually, I think, pretty much all of these questions that we've had on here were questions that we haven't covered yet. Let's do this. Let's do a new quiz. Let's do this a little bit differently. Let's go new quiz. Let's go. We've covered domain 7, and can I add more? Let's do domain 2. We've talked a little bit about that. What was our first domain? Hold on, let me go check. See, that's how bad my memory is. It's like, did I forget something? Course materials. So 7 and 2, that's really all we've covered so far. We haven't hit 1 yet. Oh no, we have hit 1. Never mind. I lied. See, you guys can't trust me. Security and risk management. Okay. We're gonna go also there you have different levels, so you can make them a little bit easier. So you can kind of adjust this. So, and also something that I also didn't mention is that when I was prepping for this, the week before I took the test, every night I would go through 50 questions and I would sit and I would time myself and I would go through the whole thing. On the weekend before I took the test, I did 200 because I wanted to make sure that I could sit for that whole exam because it's not something we're used to doing anymore. We are not used to not like my cell phone's right here. I don't know how many times it goes off during the day and the screen lights up and something pops up on it. It's like, oh, look at that. Or how many times I get an email and it's like, oh, I'm going to do this. Or I'm in Discord a lot looking at people's questions and such. So to sit for 3 hours, potentially 3 hours, and not have any distractions, we're expecting that and our brain's expecting that. So being able to concentrate on something for that amount of time is really hard. Um, before we get into this, though, I do want to show you something. I want to show you the statistics here. Um, so as you can see here, you can get information in here, which it looks like there's a bunch of different information. The highest, this is all, here we go. This is what I wanted to show you. So on this account, the average score per domains, you will be able to get this information and pull out of CSecure and say, for instance, it's obvious the domains that are lower scoring here. So say if I was studying and this was my, if this was all me, I probably wouldn't do security assessments. I probably wouldn't do asset security. I might even leave out domain one because I'm doing really well here and I'm going to target these domains that I'm lower in. So you want a timer on the next one? You can do that. So yeah, and it's also important knowing how much time you have to do this because with say if it's 100 questions, that's an hour and a half for 50. Sorry, this is the way that my brain breaks down stuff. It like does halves and quarters and such. So one potentially 150 questions in what 180 minutes. So you got to take that into account of how much time you have per question. Some of these questions are going to be easier and you're going to get through them quickly. Some of them are going to be a little bit harder and it's going to take a little bit more time. Anyway, sorry, let's go back. Let's take a test. So we're going to do study mode again. We're going to do pro. I got a request for a timer on there, so we'll do that and see how we do. So let's reset the domains here. So one, we'll do two, and seven's already here. 172. Cool. Anything else that I missed here? Let's bump this up to 15 just for the fun of it. Give it a little bit more. Hopefully we can get a little bit more variation on the questions too. Identity access management. I'm trying to focus on things that we've already covered in class. All right, let's go. All right, 15 questions. Here we go. We've got a timer. It looks like it gave us 21 and a half minutes to do this. All right. Valuable paper insurance coverage does not cover damage to which of the following? Valuable paper insurance. I don't even know that we've talked about this. So what does it not cover? Records, manuscript, inscribed, printed, and written documents, monies, and securities. I'm with you guys 100%. Money and securities just jumps out at me. You can never get insurance on money and securities, right? There we go. Heck yeah. We're off to a good start on this one. So in interest of time on this one, I'm not going to show the answers on this one, especially for ones that we get true, because we're on that timer there. All right, which of the following would be best suited to oversee the development of an information security policy? This is a good one. Security administrators, the end user, security officers, or system administrators? Security officer? Security administrators? So you guys can see this with this one. We're obviously not going to do an end user. I'd say system administrators would be a no. So security officers or security administrators? I say security administrators is the one where I would go. I'm going to do it. Oh, I was wrong. You guys can make fun of me now. So security officers then? Security officers. So when I think of security officers now, I think of like a security officer, like a security guard. So I don't think of like, at least written in this context. But this is right. It is security officers. They're the ones that should be doing it. Management should be the one that's driving information security. It should not be um, the end user. It should not be administrators. If so, information security is not an IT job. Well, it is, but the overall oversight and such is not an IT job. All right, next step. In the course of responding to and handling an incident, so incident response, you work on determining the root cause of the incident and which step are you in. So we're trying to determine the root cause of an event. So containment, so that's containing the event, probably not. Recovery, that comes after that. No, we want to know what it is before. Triage, triage is one of the first things you do. Analysis and tracking. I'd say analysis and tracking as well. Very good, ladies and gentlemen. Moving on, because we got that timer going. Makes me nervous. Which of the following is given the responsibility of the maintenance and protection of data? So maintenance and protection of data. So do we have the user? No. Data custodian? Sounds good. Data owner? Security administrator. Right off the bat, user and security administrator, we can knock those guys right out, right? So data custodian owner. I see a lot of custodians in there. Oh, I see some owners too. I see a little bit more custodians. Data custodian is where I was going to go for that one. So the owner is the one who's going to determine how it's protected, who has access to it. But the custodian is ultimately going to be the one that's going to be doing the maintenance and the protection of that data. So in this case, generally data custodians are IT because IT is the one that's going to go in and grant people with actual permission to it. The data owner, say for instance, and sorry, I'm sidetracking. I know we've got a timer on there. So say for instance, if someone requests access to something, that's generally going to be the data owner that says, hey, yes, that person can have access to it. And then the data custodian is going to be like, they said we can allow this access, so now we're going to grant that access, for instance. All right. Who should decide how a company should approach security and what security measures should be implemented? The data owner, information security specialist, senior management, or an auditor? I see two of those right now that I can knock off the list. So senior management is coming up a lot. Data owner is a little bit too narrow on that one. That's one of the ones I would say no. So auditor and data owner, no. Information security specialist, maybe, but I'd say senior management. The information security specialist should be helping management guide, but senior management should ultimately be the one who decides. Exactly. Think like a manager. All right. Next step. Which of the following statements pertaining to quantitative risk analysis is false? So um, I had a way of kind of reminding myself the difference between qualitative and quantitative risk analysis. Um, you guys are all saying D. I'm sorry. So you guys can ask me about that later at another time. Portion of it can be automated. It involves complex calculations. It requires high volume of information, requires little experience to apply. So pertain to, oh, is false. So the big key here is being it's false. It requires little experience. Yeah. Nice work, ladies and gents. Moving on. 7. Reviewing of recorded events after the fact using a closed circuit TV camera system is considered what kind of control? This is a good one because different controls can be more than one of these items. So preventative, corrective, compensating, or detective. Preventative would be, someone seeing a camera and being like, okay, I'm not going to do something. Corrective, no. Compensating, no. Detective, yeah, I agree. Am I wrong? No. I'm not wrong. You guys are not wrong either. All right. Next step. Ensuring least privilege does not require. Notice the not is not capitalized here in this one. They're not calling your attention to it. Um, see, what do you mean by that, Gene? I need more info. Anyway, so determining the minimum set privilege required for a user to perform their duties, identifying the user's job, restricting the user to required privileges and nothing more, and ensuring that the user alone does not have sufficient rights to subvert an important process. So, so it does not require. Determining the minimum set of privileges, that's required. The user's job is required because that's what it's going to be all based off. It's role-based access controls. And restricted the user to required privileges and nothing more. Yes. So that, to me, if I was doing this, D would be where I would go. So let's see. Am I right? D. Yep. Cool. So identifying the user's job, just going to throw it out there because I do see a couple B's in there. So most of the time, their job is going to determine what sort of access they get. Next up, which can be best defined as high-level statements, beliefs, goals, and objectives. So high-level statements, beliefs, goals, and objectives. Policies, guidelines, procedures, standards. Policies rolling out hard here. Anybody disagree? Anybody want anything else? I agree with policies. Oh, I see some standards coming up and guidelines. Policies, those are going to be your policies. So policies are required, guidelines, procedures, standards come after that. All are good. If you have a really good way or a really good setup, you're going to have all of these in some sort of or another. Honestly, this is something that we could talk all day and then tomorrow and then the next day about. Um, there is so much that goes into this. Anyway, we're still on timer here. I apologize. I'm sidetracking. What can be defined as a batch process dumping backup data through communication lines to a server at an alternate location? I'm going to take a drink of water. I'll let you guys talk through this one. Remote journaling, electronic vaulting, database shadowing, data clustering. A batch process dumping backup data through communications lines to a server at an alternate location. So we've got it all over the place. Remote journaling is probably where I would go to first here. That would be, if I saw that, I'd be remote journaling. That sounds about right. Electronic vaulting, I don't know. Watch, I'm going to be wrong on this one. A database shadowing, no, because that's not a batch process that happens. Data clustering, kind of similar, at least the way that I see it. Once again, this isn't one of my strong points here. Um, told you guys I was going to get something wrong. So I see C and D in here now. I'm seeing a lot of B's, C's. Faulting? If we had time, I would go and see why this is. Obviously, as you guys saw, I got that wrong. I think you guys were right on that one. Once again, you guys can call me out on this one later on. Be like, dude, Brian was wrong. Answer for the video. I'll do it real quick. We've got some time. We're on question 10. So faulting refers to transfer backup data and offsite location. So I don't electronic vaulting. That's maybe today's day and age. That's just not what. Yeah, alternate location is key. This is offsite backups to me is the way that I would have termed this. Anyway, I do have my CISSP. It's it's one of those things, man. It's hard. Um, and I'll be honest with you. I probably got questions wrong on the CISSP. I know I got questions wrong on the CISSP. I agree with you, Kirk. Next up, so there are three tenets of on which information security sits. Which of the following is not one of these three basic tenets of information security? Right away, invisibility. That makes me laugh. I'm sorry. Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. Um, so invisibility here, it's obviously it stands out on these. We've talked about these before. We'll talk about them again. These three, availability, confidentiality, integrity, are huge. All right. Next up, an incremental backup process. Ooh, backup processes. This is one, if you know it, you know it, generally. But backups all the data and changes archive bit to 0. Oh, we're going to go this direction. Backs up all data and changes it to a 1. Backs up all the files that have been changed since the last full or incremental backup. That doesn't make sense because incremental backup is the question. Well, no, it does make sense. Never mind. Backs up all the files that have been modified since the last full backup, but does not change the archive value bit. Now, since I'm the one here, I'm gonna give my opinion on this. So incremental backups. So those are going to be the ones where you take a backup and then you take another backup and another backup and another backup. So if you had to restore something, you're going to have all of those backups that you're going to have to restore, right? It's not a differential where a differential is the full backup and then whichever one was the most recent. So with that, I'm going to have to go a C on this one. The one that I kind of said that doesn't make sense. It is the one that makes sense. So the D there would be differentials, backups, right? Am I wrong? I'm probably wrong on this one. So it is C. So differential backups are the one where, like I said, you take a full backup, and then each differential backup is a backup of the files that were changed since the last full. Incremental backups are going to only back up the data that were changed since the last incremental backup. So you have a full and then a bunch of incrementals. So I'm not going to lie, I was tested on this on the exam. So you guys want to know backups. So, and this is real world use as well. All right, next up, question 13. Which best describes the process you're going or you are doing if apply hot fixes, service packs, and patches, use effective password management practices, enable logging on your systems, disable non-essential services? Is this network hardening, OS hardening, implementing security controls, or application hardening? So once again, we've got a mix of answers. So network hardening, I would say no, based off of these items like password management and hot fixes and service patches, although you could do that on devices. Non-essential services, that's more of a server type thing for me. So maybe OS hardening? Yeah, no, because password management and such. Implementing security controls? Hey, implementing security controls kind of covers all the rest of this. Application hardening? It's a little bit too specific. I'm going to go C. Oh, I'm shocked. Wow. I'm hurt, man. I am hurt. Do you guys think it's A? I'm seeing A's and some WTFs. I absolutely agree. I would have said that really if you guys weren't here with me. Um, so let's see what it is. So OS hardening, uh, I enabling logins. I can see where they're going with this one. I think that the real seller was disable non-essential services, applying hot fixes, service packs and patches. I guess that's yeah. Okay, I can see it. I can see where they're going with this one. Good point. It is all server based. This is also a key that I'm going to stress to you guys. Make sure you really read the questions and not be like me and like trying to skip through them so I can get to the answers. It also helps when you're taking these questions and you're not in front of people watching you make mistakes. Once again, you guys can now use this to blackmail me. I, I I'm not going to dare you. That would be bad. But yeah. Uh, so what is the process called when you deploy each of your computers with a common set of settings and overall security posture prior to them being permitted on the network? Excuse me. Computer baseline, security templates, ensuring physical security, or group policies. Group policies, no, that's a Windows type thing where that's not doesn't apply to everything. Ensuring physical security, no, because that's physical security, and this is talking about computers. Security templates are computer baselines. Um, I'm getting a lot of A's, a couple B's in here. Computer baselines. We've got 5 minutes. We're on question 14, only one more. For someone that's saying it's a computer baseline, someone that's saying it's a security template, why? Or also, if you think it's group policy, why group policy? Posture prior is key phrase. Let's see. So prior to them being permitted on the network. So security template is an image, but you could also push that with group policy. Intune. Intune's really good at this kind of stuff from what I hear. So I'm getting a lot of A or B. So I'm going to go, so process called when you deploy each of your computers with a common set of settings. So to me, that would be baselines. That's where I would go on this one. Yeah, it doesn't say Windows. I I grew up in a Windows world, and that my mind automatically goes to there. So computer baseline. So I have an MCSC in server 2003. Shows you how behind the times I am. I should know these things. All right, next up, question 15. Which of the following statements describes an effective risk management strategy? Choose the best answer. Win 2K? Damn, man. That's NT40. Nice. The good old days. Anyway, sorry. See, I'm off track again. I apologize, guys. So effective. So this is the best answer. Effective risk management activities need not be supported by all the members. No, I'm going to say no immediately on that one. Uh, risk management is a cultural item at an organization. It needs to be from the top down. It needs to be everybody. Risk awareness communications may not be required at each step of risk management processes. No, it needs to be everywhere. Risk management, or that is, it could be maybe. Oh no, it's not because it says not there. Risk management activities should be supported only by a security team. Once again, no. It's everybody. Risk management strategy must be an integrated business process. I like that with clear objectives that incorporates all of organizations' risk management processes. Yes. D, you guys, I know. And there you go. Let's see how we did. So we answered everything. Cool. We're gonna submit grading. 15 out of 15. Woo. You guys did it. You guys are awesome. Um, yeah, it's 12 out of 15. Oh, that's only the answered one. See, I'm not paying enough attention to this. Oh, it did give 15 out of 15. Interesting. I would have thought it would have gone. So this is once again CISSP. Do I still have it here? That's not it. I'm gonna drop another link to CISSP in the chat. Um, so looks like JS sample quiz. Nice. I didn't know that they had one, honestly. Um, and also discount codes FRSecure, 10% discount. I think it all has to be caps as well. That is for the discount code is for CSecure, not destination certification. I will say destination certification is huge. Their book that's out there, I was looking through that. It actually looks pretty awesome. I've not read it. I don't have it myself. I've not seen Percepio. I might actually have to check that out because I would like to see it. So this is going to round out our session for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. I'm going to be going through Discord at some point here, and if anybody sends me any direct messages, I will do that as well. I'll get that maybe tonight, probably tomorrow. Thank you guys for joining me. I do appreciate it. We've got one more of these sessions, which we're looking at me not being the only one, bringing in some also additional help. So there will be more information on that. CSecure is awesome. Hit me up in Discord if you guys have anything. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. And we'll see you guys on Wednesday. I think Ron is covering domain 2. We'll see you guys for that. I will be in chat and such. So once again, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, very much. Have a wonderful morning, evening, day, night, wherever you guys are at. Have a good one.